Season 2, Episode 15, The AI Classroom, Exploring Curipod with Jens and Eirik. The Hitchhiker's Guide for Educators Tech Talk will begin in 30 seconds. Would you like to find out more information on sponsoring our live stream? Email sponsorships at teachergoals.com. Without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome to the Teacher Goals Tech Talks, Season 2, Episode 15, Exploring Curipod. I'm Amanda Fox, here with co-host Heather Brown, and we are excited you decided to hitchhike your way with us today to not only tech tools, but pedagogies and strategies behind them. Heather?
Yes, and today we have some special guests with us. I don't know if you've heard, but recently artificial intelligence, also known as AI, has been big in the education world with ChatGPT and things like that coming out. But a lot of people aren't looking at it as how can teachers use it to help us. So we have two guests with a company called Curipod, who I actually got to meet at IdeaCon about a month ago. And actually, I spent Valentine's Day with them, I realized. I didn't spend it with my husband. I spent it with these two guys.
Well,
but I am very excited to share all the magic they have for you.
All right. We're going to bring up Eirik and Jens. If you guys would like to introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about Curipod and what you guys do in the realm of AI and education.
Fantastic.
Definitely. So nice to be here. Thank you for having us. And so my name is Jens, and I'm the founder and CEO of Curipod. And with me, I have Eirik.
Yes, I'm a founder and COO. We're Norwegians. Right now we're in Raleigh, North Carolina. So we are going to
NCTI's conference.
Yes.
So super excited about that. And we can just quickly do a bit of our backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
So
let's do the presentation maybe, and we can
sure.
We can start off with actually let me share my screen here. Let's do a Curipod. Let's
do Curipod.
Yes, I love Curipod.
Here we are. Let's go live.
All right.
Okay, so welcome. Let's explore AI with Curipod. And to do that, like when we do presentations, we like to do a warm-up activity. So what we'll do now is, if people would like to join in here,
you
can just go to curi.live and join with the pin code or scan the QR code we have here.
Scanning the QR code. Here we go. All right. So everyone has, if you scan the code and join.
Yes, or you can go to the URL curi.live and write in the code 41487.
Awesome.
So when I use this with my students yesterday and today, they loved all the nicknames they got. Like that was their favorite part, I think.
Oh, we got some guests joining from Bermuda. We've got Charlotte, North Carolina. South Carolina.
Oh yeah, I hope everyone in North Carolina will be coming. At least if they're close to Raleigh, like come for the conference.
Yes.
Or if they're not part of the conference, like come to Raleigh and say hi to us.
Yes.
We'd love to meet any educators here.
Will be easy to find. So if people just want to join in as we go, you can all see the link up here, curi.live.
Eirik, it shows that your mic is muted. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think I'm speaking into Jens's mic here.
Okay. Oh, okay, beautiful.
Yeah, we're just beside each other. Nice. So everyone can just keep joining in, and we'll start with an easy warm-up activity. Draw your best moment in education.
All right.
So I'll start it off here. You can choose the drawing utensils up in the top bar there.
Let's see. Oh my gosh, my drawing looks so wonky.
So does
Like,
mine. It's all good.
Don't worry. I think
yeah, I'm using the drawing tool here, and yeah, it's.
Hey, is there an erase anywhere? There it is. Okay.
There is an eraser.
There is an eraser.
Thank goodness.
We like to say
no, it erases the whole line. That's not what I wanted.
we always like to say it's not an art competition, right? It's just another way of expressing thoughts.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yesterday, my students had to combine a picture of a car with a horse.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun with that one.
I think my favorite activity to do with this drawing is you can add background pictures, right? So you can add a GIF background picture, and then you can ask your students to make kind of a fun GIF out of it. And I visited a school where they did this with, I think it was the climate crisis. Everyone was supposed to make a GIF of it in social studies. That had incredibly cool results.
Awesome. So now time is running out.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Awesome. And I'll start the voting round. So that means you'll be able to vote. We want to see what was your favorite.
Someone loved IdeaCon.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Ooh,
Awesome.
And then
Yeah, we did some great drawings, like IdeaCon.
that one was fancy.
Also, it looked like the first day of school. All right, let's see what we got.
Welcome, students. It's the welcoming part. That's
nice.
Nice. IdeaCon. That was me. That's the coolest moment up until now. It was a great reception.
We had a blast, that's for sure.
Oh, another conference there. FETC. Cool.
That was mine. I was trying to add a photo. I wasn't fast enough.
Awesome. No, so the reason why we showed you this is it's just an easy introduction to what Curipod is. We can skip this round, but let's do a quick introduction of ourselves.
Of who we are. So yeah. So again, I'm Jens, and a bit of my background. I usually start with the part where I actually dropped out of high school. I was really not engaged in school at all, and so I dropped out, and then I did some other stuff for a couple of years, and then I came back to school because I wanted to go study. So I finished high school. In Norway, I have like 5 years to finish. So I was I just made the cut. And then I went on to study economics of everything. And that's where I met Eirik.
Yeah. So I took the other route. Like, there's a lot of teachers here. I was born with an Hermione reflex. I always say, like, if a teacher asks a question, I just raise my hand, and then I'll spend some time afterwards figuring out if I know the answer. Side note, like today I use a lot of time in classrooms, kind of just like observing what's happened, so we can build a lot better Curipod. That reflex is really hard because now I'm sitting in a kind of 5th grades, and I still want to raise my hand, right? Because I know the answer. So yeah, that's kind of where I started. So when I was finished with high school, I knew I wanted to become a teacher. And then I went to Mozambique for a year working as a teacher, and that was an amazing experience. But I got really interested in a lot of kind of social studies questions, so I ended up with economics, where I met Jens here. And I think we found each other through not wanting to become financial consultants. That's kind of how we bonded. And then we figured out both had a passion for education, coming from kind of had different views on it then, and founded Curipod.
And you guys are based out of?
So normally based out of Oslo, Norway.
Mm-hmm.
So other side of the world, basically. And it's been super exciting to travel around and visit different parts of the United States and see, like, we're actually really surprised how similar the education systems are in many ways. So that's really interesting. Yeah, should we jump into
a bit about Curipod?
Yeah,
quick intro to Curipod and then some AI in the classroom.
Yeah, I mean, you've already tried out Curipod a bit now for the ones who joined in. And the idea behind Curipod is that we want to really like spark curiosity, thereby the name Curipod, in the classrooms. We want everyone to engage, to be creative, critical thinking, discussions, like all of these parts.
21st century skills, basically.
Yeah, which we believe are important and which we see educators more and more, both in Norway and the United States and all over the world, are interested in. So that's why we started up Curipod. And then as we were working with Curipod, we realized, like, for teachers, a big barrier to begin starting using a new tool is obviously then you need to adapt all your curriculum, all your content into a new format. And that's where the AI part came in from our perspective, because we saw that how AI have been evolving, it can actually really be a helpful tool to facilitate the content part. So I think that maybe brings us into the AI part.
Yeah. Let's AI in the classroom.
Yeah. Oh, we have a lot of thoughts about AI in the classroom. I think for us, I think like when we're thinking about it internally in Curipod, we usually think about it kind of in three parts. Like one is AI for the teacher, a second is AI for the student, and then our third lens is AI from the Curipod perspective. And I think from the teacher perspective, I think, ChatGPT has been a big introduction, obviously, and really showing how AI can actually be a tool. And I'm saying tool because if there's one thing I think, at least in Team Curipod, we're very sure of, is that AI will never replace any teachers.
It's a tool to be used, right? That's it's a tool to give the teacher superpowers because it can do a lot of the things that takes time. It can do a lot of the things that it's grunt work. And that's kind of our goal with Curipod, is how can we gain a teacher an hour extra every day, either to spend with their family or spend one-to-one with students. Can we make more time for them? That's it's a tool.
Beautiful. And I know with ChatGPT, there's been it has sparked a huge discussion on AI in the classroom, and teachers are kind of divided on where they fall on whether we should embrace AI or ban AI. And I think sometimes we can get tunnel vision and we can worry about the implications and the impact with implicit bias or unconscious bias that are built into data algorithms and data sets. But I think as AI becomes more intelligent, as we train those systems better, it's going to continue to get better. And it's definitely a wonderful tool to reduce workload. And I love what you guys are doing with AI and the student-facing platform that you have.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think what you're saying, right, that there's a lot of opportunities, but there are also a lot of challenges. And I think from the Curipod lens, I think two challenges we've really been facing, and that is like one, which might be the first very obvious one, is that AI is never completely factually correct, right? So how can we make sure that that teachers know that it can be really useful and right most of the time, but it sometimes makes mistakes. So for example, we added in this small little warning. I'm not sure you've seen that in Curipod, that you get this pop-up saying like, remember to fact check.
I always love our AI expert, Eskil. He has this saying like, AI, it's like a 5-year-old. It will, everything it knows, it will tell you with the utmost confidence, right? It will come home and tell you, and it's sure it's true. And that's like, AI is not trying to trick you. It's just a 5-year-old that knows incredibly lot of stuff. And to me, that's a great way of viewing AI.
Yeah, definitely. And also, so it's like the fact part, but then it's also like the bias part, right?
Absolutely.
What form of content it presents. I mean, the classic example is, of course, if you ask it about like describe a CEO, it will typically like a white male, 50 plus, all of this like stereotypical descriptions,
statistical descriptions, basically.
Yeah, which
it's the same with the AI lenses and the AI generative art. I know you can get into unconscious bias with some of the stuff that would be generated. Like if you keyword poverty, it would typically reflect a certain class of citizen or a certain area of the world. So
Yeah,
definitely. And this is something we see like in our product as well, and which we love when people tell us and give feedback on saying, like, for example, forms of images coming up in different contexts might not be appropriate, might be bias. And then we're trying to iterate and improve it as we go. So it will improve, which is great. But it's also even more important that teachers know about this, both the factual mistakes, but also the bias.
Absolutely. And I'm actually co-authoring a book with Dan Fitzpatrick, who's in the UK, and Brad Weinstein, author of Hacking School Discipline. And we've kind of developed a prep and edit framework. Prep is more of the prompt engineering part, but the edit part is, which I'm just going to flash it up on the screen real quick. It does have students edit that output. It has them evaluate their AI output for content, language, and facts. And these are some kind of guiding questions for students. Determine the accuracy and corroborate it with citations and sources. Because again, you said that, it's a 5-year-old that's sure it's right. Absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
And then identifying biases or misinformation in that output, like making sure that they scan it for the impact that output has, and then transforming that output and transforming that text to reflect those adjustments and findings. So
Oh, that's super, super interesting. And again, I think this kind of takes us back to the student perspective as well, right? Because it's obviously, it can be a tool for the teacher, but then it's also a phenomenon which are part of society now, whether we want it or not. And it makes it super important that students are learning about it. What is AI? Where is it in my life? Like, it might be in ChatGPT, but it already exists in Netflix and Google and Facebook and all of the tools like TikTok. I mean, the algorithms are really smart AI giving you the content which is engaging, which is with its biases and things. So I think another part of a model for students to evaluate AI is also adding the layer, maybe before or on top, depending on how you view it, that you first have to decide, is this made by a human or an AI?
Yes.
As kind of a meta level discussion.
Absolutely. For example, last night, my daughter, she had to write, her assignment was to write a English sonnet. It had to be 14 lines, 10 syllables, 3 quatrains, and a rhyming couplet. And it had to have 2 examples of figurative language. And we took a sonnet, and like I took a Shakespeare or an English sonnet, we put it into ChatGPT, and I had it, analyze this and, outline the figurative language used in this piece and describe, how it relates to that type of figurative language. And from there, because she didn't know what a euphemism was. She didn't know. So we're asking it these questions. We're asking it to give her examples. And from there, she took some of those examples and she folded them into the sonnet that she had to write. So just giving students access to the tool, but teaching them how to use it and how to capitalize on, using it for specific tasks. So
yeah, I love what you're saying there, because to me, it sounds like you were using it as kind of a creative sparring partner, and that's how I love using it as well. Like, that's because I still have to be the one making all the decisions, right? And if you use it for kind of ELA and stuff like this, you still need to know how to write good text and stuff like this. But it can be an amazing sparring partner, giving you some input, fixing writing blocks. It's all of these things are just I think for students, that's going to be super important to learn kind of how can we take advantage of it, but what are its limitations, right? Where is all this information coming from?
And I think also, Eirik, we've been discussing this a lot internally, right? Another implication of artificial intelligence is the way in which we assess students' learnings. And I think actually it's quite interesting how what's been happening in Norway there. Do you want to tell us a bit about that, Eirik?
In Norway, a few years ago, they did a huge reform of the education system. And what they did was basically to throw out all curriculum. It's a bit exaggerated, so there's still a bit.
There's some learning objectives, like higher level learning objectives.
But let's take history as an example. For example, instead of having this list of everything you need to know in history, you had more like 5 overall goals. The students are supposed to be able to discuss conflicts. They are supposed to be able to discuss impact and stuff like this. And this gives the teachers a lot more control, or a lot more
freedom
to choose a project, right? If you want to make a huge deep dive project into World War II, focusing on how it affected women's rights, you have the freedom to do that. As long as your students are able to discuss these things at the end of the course. And I think the goal here, or the background for this, was the acceptance of, we are moving past kind of multiple choice tests, essays and kind of in-person conversations. That's how we're testing students now. And that also allows us to give a lot more freedom in the curriculum.
And I think an interesting part there was also the trade-off, right? Because when you take away these very clear learning objectives, it actually makes it much harder to assess.
Especially objectively assess, right? That's what makes it, that's what's really hard.
But then I think a big trade-off were done where it was decided that, okay, we know it's going to be a bit harder to assess, but we believe the learning is so important that we'd rather emphasize what is important to learn and then accept the hard part of the assessment. And I think the introduction of AI now, when students basically, I mean, you can use ChatGPT to write your essay, like it kind of forces educators all over the world in that direction in a way. And of course, that's really hard. And it was in Norway as well when it happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. It was not without friction, right? But it's, I think the overall goal was kind of the acceptance that it's more important that we make students learn as much as possible than actually, like, that's more important than the objective testing. Objective testing is important as well, but that learning outcome is the end goal.
And I think that, I think it's one of our hopes of, like, an implication of AI coming is that it will hopefully, like, be able to speed up that movement towards critical thinking, creativity, 21st century skills, because then the whole system needs to change, right? Because we know so many educators are really passionate about this, but then of course you have state level testing or whatever, which might not be,
which might push toward, like, push against it, right? It's should we do it?
There's definitely pushback.
100%. Yep. We have testing next week, so I'm really feeling it right now.
Did you guys want to do a demo and show our viewers?
What I'll do is I'll do a question round here in Curipod. What questions do you have about AI?
I think you need to share screen again, maybe?
Is it not sharing?
No. Yep. All right.
And for our viewers, education in the classroom, that's
If our viewers have any questions for Eirik or Jens, feel free to drop them in the comments. And,
so actually, what we can do any questions here. So we can do it in the Curipod here.
Yeah.
So everyone should still be logged in.
So here's the work. Actually, if you throw that back on the screen real quick, for those who are joining in late or
yes, please join in.
Please join in here.
Scan the QR code or go to curi.live and put in pin 41487. And I'm in. I am eating pizza. Great. I'm no longer not.
Well, I'm cheering president.
Awesome. We have do we have any of the cats here? Most of our developers, they love cats, so they have sneaked in their cats' names in this.
That's awesome.
So if you ever get the Lusk, that's the name of the cat of one of the people in our team.
Yeah. If anyone still needs to join in, it's in the top here, curi.live with the 41487. So I'll start it. You have 1.5 minutes to write in some questions, and then we'll vote for what we can focus on.
Awesome. So just write your questions in, and any questions you have for them, they're here to answer. And specifically either around AI in the classroom, around Curipod, the tool, like what you can do with it. Do you want to tell them a little bit about all the, while they're writing in their questions, the functions of Curipod and how they can use it with students?
Yeah, I can tell a bit about it. So what you're seeing now is kind of Curipod in action, right? This is Curipod as how it works with students. You make a presentation, it's interactive. You can have content slides, you can have activities, like you saw the drawing activity in the beginning here. Here you see a question activity, you have polls and Wordcloud. So it's an interactive presentation tool. It works a bit like Peer Deck or Nearpod if you've tried any of those.
Yeah.
Then kind of the big thing we do is that you can also create all of this with AI. So you can choose any topic in the world. It's super easy to try out. I can actually show it probably while the questions are coming in.
Yeah, I created a whole lesson on poetry. I put in poetry, what I wanted the slide decks to have, and it auto-populated my lesson plan. So,
Awesome.
yeah, I definitely want you guys.
I'll show it now while the questions are coming in.
Beautiful.
You can just hit generate. So I'm just at my homepage here.
Oh, you're sharing the other tab.
Oh, then let's do start voting. So now you can vote for the questions you want us to answer while I showcase the AI. So you can just hit create lesson, and then you can choose a blank lesson if you want to make everything from scratch, but you can also choose all of these different AI features. Let's do full lesson.
Oh, wait 2 seconds. So we'll share the, it shares. It might be.
Yeah. Yes, someone said they wanted to see more of a demo of Curipod in action. So if you guys stick around when we're done with the questioning, sorry, I'm going to throw that back up. We will,
yeah.
Here we go.
I'll showcase now while the questions are coming in. So what I've done, I've just started it by I just hit create lesson. Let's say I want to lesson about the solar system. Then I'm teaching about the solar system to 8th grade. If I have any learning objectives or standards I want the lesson to meet, I can paste them here.
So that's the input part where you basically describe what you want generated, correct?
Yes.
Beautiful.
And then it's working.
And then there we go.
And what it does now is creates the slide deck for you. So this is created within Curipod. You see this first one here, it's a Wordcloud. Then we have some content slides.
And you can actually go in and tailor these slides. You can change the images, which I love that. I'm a maximalist, to be honest. I'm very max. There's not a minimalist bone in my body, but when it comes to my slides, I'm very minimal with text. I don't like a lot of text, so I like to condense it.
Yeah, here it's created a group, work together in pairs. What are the 3 main components of the solar system? It has created a few polls for us. So what it basically does is it creates an outline for how a lesson like this could look. As you said, Amanda, all of these can be edited. You can also add new slides yourself. You can add activities. You can add...
Oh, and you can show the new feature we have.
So you can also add more AI stuff inside this. So let's say I want a lesson hook, right? What's a lesson hook? That's an easy way of making the topic a bit interesting. So I need a lesson hook about the solar system.
I love this. Yeah, so this is going to get that student engagement from the start. And then I love starting with the Wordcloud because you can activate students' prior knowledge and figure out where they're on the topic.
Yes.
Yeah, you see the AI has learned that word. Most teachers like Wordcloud because that it always puts it up front, right? So here it created a lesson hook about the solar system. How would the solar system be affected if humans were to colonize Mars? That's a really cool just start of discussion question. There is no right or wrong answer, right? It's just a way of getting people to start thinking. I think lesson hook is my favorite feature because it can take any quote unquote boring subject in the world in the eyes of an 8th grader and make an interesting question.
So we have a question. Can it bring in a video for a lesson hook like YouTube? Yeah, you can actually add.
So here you can always add media
and then if you go to
video
and just paste in the YouTube link.
Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful.
There's one slide that, and the ones I've done, it lists random facts. And so I feel like as the teacher, I'm learning too, because E is the most common letter in the English language because it has something to do with being in mathematical equations. Like, oh, I didn't know that. That was random. Like, I don't know if it was like, I don't know. It's just one of those slides that just tells you a bunch of facts that make learning more interesting.
That's, yeah, I think I just viewed the questions there, so I can answer a few of those questions. How can you add interactive activities for students? So here I'm in the editor. You can, as I showed, you can add them directly here, or you can generate them by AI.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, there's like several different ways too. There's posts there, or polls, word clouds. There's such a variety. And I swear you guys are always adding more too.
Yeah. And there was someone asking about how you can use it for math. And that's a cool question, actually, because let's add just here I added just a blank drawing activity. You all tested the drawing activity in the beginning, right? You get a canvas, you can draw. But what you can do as a teacher is to add the background. So default is everyone gets a blank drawing. But if I want to add something, I can add something. And this means that when my student starts this drawing feature, everyone will get this as their background. So this means they can, for example, you can give them exercises to solve. They will be automatically handed in. You can give them graphs to love, kind of add stuff upon.
I'm really excited about this. I didn't realize we could do that. You just made my night.
It's a small hidden
feature.
So you could add.
Yeah, go on.
You could add a graph paper as a background and actually plot and graph quadratic equations.
Yes. Yeah. Or you can take any worksheet you had and just add it as a picture, and they will be able to work on that worksheet, and they will be automatically handed into you. So that's a neat feature. I also I think one of my recommendations is to use it for use the open question for what do you infer type of activity.
Nice.
So you can add a picture here, and they all send in their answer about kind of what do they infer. It can be an ELA activity just for writing. It can be a history activity. It's super fun.
You could use that too with littles, with KWL. Like, what do you know? What do you want? To know? You want to learn? Yeah. And with littles that are still learning, their letters, you can they have them draw what they know, what they so.
Yeah, I really recommend using the drawing feature a lot, because there are some students that they struggle with showing what they know when they're supposed to write it, but they showcase such amazing knowledge when they get to kind of draw it. And that's I can show people one more feature here. So one thing we really like is also the mini project. This is quite fun. So we can do again the solar system. And what is generate is it generates a bit of a longer project, not the kind of 2-minute activity. How did the solar system form? So it's an activity meant to be done in groups or pairs.
And when you can research using internet or AI or whatever resources you have as a student.
So it gives the students 2 types of activities to choose from: draw a timeline of the solar system formation, or explain how the planets formed in the solar system. And it gives them some clues to help them kind of search for knowledge. Nice.
Yeah, I liked that it. I liked that it also includes that social interaction, the pairing up piece, and having students work together versus alone or solo.
Yeah, we are big fans of collaborative learning. That's
yeah, and I think it's more important than ever to have learned the social skills of collaborating and discussing it and finding solutions together.
And again, you can generate the lessons through AI, or if you already have an idea of what you're going to, you can download these decks too, and put them into like Canva and change them around, do whatever.
So you can not download them, but you can upload stuff. So if you have any,
you can take the content and like make it more pretty and upload.
Yes. Yeah. So if you have anything you've used before, right? If you have some slides and you just want to make them more interactive, you can just import them here as a PDF, and we'll add them as slides here.
Awesome.
So you can use everything you have before to make it interactive.
Yeah. So if you have some great content, slides you put a lot of effort into, upload them, and then you can generate these activities in between.
I have one thing I want to showcase here. This is my favorite feature in Curipod. So that's so what you can do here, as I showed you, right? I can edit the background of this slide. So we have an image library.
Oh yeah.
So
I love that dog.
I want an image of the ocean as my background here, and then I can add some media on top of that. I'll add a GIF.
Choose
a dolphin, and then I'll choose the transparent filter.
So long.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
So
I did not know that. You just taught me something. I didn't know you could do that.
And then you can have
that's so awesome.
I really love this. You can have so much. When I made this, I had so much fun.
Yeah. Okay, but now I have a problem. I have a huge problem. AI is supposed to save me time. Now I'm going to spend more time playing around with stuff like this.
That's true. Maybe we need to make some algorithm combining them so that,
that would be cool.
all done for you. Let's see if we can manage. Might be a hard task.
Okay, our users are loving this. Erica says, yes, it's natural SEL. Yes. Someone said, okay, they just created their account. The group and peer collaborative elements are the winner here. And this is very cool. It is very cool. So can you tell our users, like, what is the freemium? What do they get when they sign up, and what is the paid content? Like what's the difference? What's the difference?
So actually, the free plan, you have basically you have access to all the features. So the only difference between the free and the paid is that on the paid one, you can have more than 5 Curipods saved to your account, to your library.
Awesome.
But you have access to all the fun stuff on the free plan as well. So
you can delete.
And you can delete. Yeah, that's a secret trick. Like you can just delete and make a new one.
We're quite clear on that. Like we want it to be accessible to teachers. It's
yeah, but like if we could decide, well, we would of course have like every teacher afford it, but then we need to have some payment because we need payment from schools and districts, right? And it's hard.
You're a business at the end of the day, and even though you're in education and you're making the world better with your product, you're a business, and businesses have to make money. So
at the end of the day they have to, but we will always strive to keep as much as we can free because it's supposed to help teachers, right? That's
Erica says you have to eat.
Yes, that's
Erika Sandström. Yeah, that sounds Swedish.
That sounds Swedish.
Swedish, maybe.
At the beginning of as a startup, we made what we called an oatmeal budget, just to make sure like we had a runway as the startup, and then we had the runway if we just ate oatmeal.
How long can we go and eat oatmeal?
Yes, if needed, how long could we keep on with just doing this?
Yeah, Erica is from Stockholm.
I hope you graduated. I hope you graduated from oatmeal.
Yes,
I think.
Or Norwegians eat a lot of oatmeal. That's
yeah, or at least oatmeal with almonds and berries, like.
Yeah.
And also, like, just want to mention this when you have the chance. If anyone like watching have any questions for us, they can like anytime just write in the chat on the website. It's usually the two of us answering the support. Yeah. So, and then maybe one or two of the ones back home.
Or reach out on Twitter.
Or on like email, whatever. I think my email is on the website.
And they're easy to find. Jens at Curipod.com and Eirik at Curipod.com. We want teachers to be as involved in this as possible because it's like...
Yeah, we're building it for teachers.
Yeah.
And we need all the feedback we can get.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming on today and demoing Curipod and letting our viewers experience it as well. It's definitely one of my favorite AI tools out there. There are other education platforms that allow you to do this, but you guys definitely have the best one. So
thank you.
Thank
you so much for having us. This has been
it's been so much fun.
Yeah, we have so much fun now traveling around the US, meeting teachers, and we love this.
Where are you going next?
So now we're in Raleigh now, going to the NC Ties, and then we are going to San Francisco for a few days, and then we're going to Los Angeles and Spring Q.
Awesome. You're in Q in California, and I'm in McCall in Detroit. So a little bit of jealousy there with the weather.
Yeah, that's as Norwegians, we like the opportunity to get out of the snow. That's
there are a few questions there. Just one, are you going to ISTE in Philadelphia? Yes, that's the plan. So I'm
excited
about that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll
get to hang out with us.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. Awesome.
Oh, Erica as well.
Awesome.
And then
the three of us are actually roommates.
We are.
Plus John.
Yeah, when we typically go, we get like a 4-bedroom Airbnb.
Yeah, we usually do the same with Curipod. So there's one question. How about subjects not in school curriculum? That's a cool question.
That's a great question.
I have a good answer for that one.
Yeah.
Yes. So
yes, is that it?
Yes, because I actually just used it because my kids were complaining of when are we ever going to use this math, a normal conversation that we have. Yeah. And so I made one specifically for when are we going to use math outside of the classroom?
Fantastic.
And you know what? The conversations we had, these are a bunch of 5th graders, but the conversations we had were absolutely amazing.
I think what he's asking is outside of math, science, social studies.
It should work super for that as well. It's
you can make for any topic, basically, as
so you can generate one from scratch and put in the topic.
Yeah, and as people might have seen, we added I choose 8th grade in my example, right? And we just added the option of professional development. So you can add the target audience to be professional development. So then it's kind of targeted a bit
more towards adult
learners. You can use it if you're an instructional coach and want to do a session with your teachers about AI in the classroom. You can,
for example,
try to make a lesson about that, or you can use it for any topic in the world, basically.
That's funny because that's the first thing I did was generate a slide deck on AI.
Yes, that's
using AI.
It's quite good on that, actually.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, it did. And then my next one's always poetry and figurative language. So, which is the only time my daughter asks me for help with any kind of homework is if it's ELA based. I'm former ELA teacher here, ELA history. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. We can't wait to see you at ISTE. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in person. We appreciate you guys coming on the show tonight, and we appreciate our viewers hanging out with us and experiencing some Curipod. So make sure if you are at Q or in Raleigh and Los Angeles,
the San Francisco and Los Angeles area will be around.
All right. So make sure
if you want us to visit the school, right? We visit a lot of schools in this tour, so just send us a message.
All right. So so if you're in those areas, Raleigh, San Francisco, or Los Angeles, shoot them a message. They're happy to come and see you. Thank you again. And that's a wrap, guys. Happy Tuesday. Taco Tuesday.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Courses by Teacher Goals. Register now for the Canva Classroom.